In recent years, farmers, conservationists and others have realised the need to come together to tackle the challenges they share. The Waddesdon Estate is not only changing its farming practices, but connecting with the wider community to encourage change on a broader basis.
Here in the UK, I think conservationists, farmers are working so much closely together. 25 years, 30 years ago when I started in this industry, we were not in the same room. Most of the time when I go to meetings, working groups, we're all in the same room and we're all working towards the same goal. And I think that's a snowball effect that is going to continue to get bigger. And it's not rocket science. These are actually quite easy things to do, replicating what's already being done by nature. And I think conservationists have had a change of attitude in that farmers are not the bad guys. Actually, farmers are the key to what we need to do. The biggest potential for biodiversity uplift is on those farms. It's important to us to bring people together as a community, in agriculture especially. I think we have lost the culture in agriculture and we've become very isolated, and farmers have become very isolated, and that community is vital for everything, for culture, for environment, for mental health. That community is essential.
2,000 acres of Waddesdon is let to 5 tenant farmers who are an important part of the estate.
So tenant farmers have been here for generations. Father handed down to son. And yeah, that's something that we want to continue. So having these families here generation after generation is really important. I think that adds that community, that sense of continuity. You know, they're more a part of Waddesdon than many of us who just work here are.
Come on, up. Good boy.
Charlie Beeman runs Sheepcote Farm on the estate. Chris often visits the tenant farmers to share ideas and engage with them about the new practices at Waddesdon.
And you've adapted your business as we made the changes in sort of that kind of smart farming, regenerative farming thing we've done. You've changed the way your contract works to sort of help us out with that.
Oh, absolutely, yes. When you started with the regenerative thing, I was fascinated with it. Watching you and Pete do with the composting, it was really fascinating.
It's taken us a few years, and I think we're sort of getting that fine-tuned now.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we need to work out as tenant-farmer estate relationship, is how do we help each other out with, you know, that kind of equipment and that kind of composting system.
Our ears are always open to ideas and how we can take some benefit from the things you're doing.
Well, our tenant farmers are independent, so they can do what they want. They're not influenced by us. We don't make policy on what they do on their farms. But it's really important for me to come out and share the knowledge that we have, and just that community of looking out for each other when things go wrong, whether it's, you know, you see something that's not right. It's just keeping those relationships going. Well, I'll let you finish on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice to see you.
Brilliant, Charlie.
Thanks
a lot.
Yeah, cheers.
Farmers like Charlie are starting to see how important engaging with the wider community can be to tackle the climate, policy and economic changes that farming faces.
With the environmental challenges that we face, I think it's really good to be sharing our knowledge, because it's new to a lot of farmers, and so it's very experimental, and we're finding our way. So if you can share some information or some knowledge, then you can save others an awful lot of time.
The Waddesdon Estate is not only connecting with its tenants, but creating events with other organisations to bring farmers together and share ideas.
So the event today is a knowledge sharing event where we're brought in some farmers into Waddesdon Estate, and we're partnering with the River Tame Conservation Trust to share information around soil health and composting. So what you see here is different people from across the industry being brought into one place, whether they're sort of knowledge seekers or knowledge providers, and you've got some who are big scale, like the Waddesdon setup here at the estate, and you've got farmers who are a bit smaller, people like Tom, and you know, people can come and listen to what they've got to say and learn the space in between the two, you know, the large and the small. This kind of event's really important for agroecology. We're all about sharing information with farmers around how to kind of transition to more agroecological practices and sort of learning and generally sharing.
Farmer clusters bring farmers together across a local landscape to tackle shared environmental challenges. With the first groups forming around 10 years ago, There are now dozens across the UK.
We've been facilitating the farm cluster in the Tame catchment for a few years now, and it's a really, really important part of our work as a Rivers Trust. We think they're really important, not just for us, but they're important from the farmers. We get the feedback that it's a good support network, it helps them to talk to other farmers, trying new experiences in these times in particular when the agricultural landscape is changing so much, the funding is changing, and there are new opportunities to diversify, I think.
This is a brilliant way for farmers to learn, kind of in situ, on site, on farm. They can touch, they can feel, they can see what's going on. You know, we have an online platform which is great, and certainly in the sort of winter months and the downtime, people can read up on certain practices. But coming face to face, a couple of talks, getting their hands dirty with the compost, I think there's a lot of learning happens in this kind of space.
It's great to get together and work on local projects like rejuvenating the river, and share stories and experiences, and so I think a farm cluster is a really valuable thing. And although we farm quite differently within the cluster, I'm organic for example and many of the others aren't, it's good to sort of make friends with each other and share information so that we're not all in silos.
I've learnt today that diversity is key in every aspect of our management. Diversity in our techniques and diversity in the plants and the flora and fauna that we're trying to proliferate.
Waddesdon Estate hopes to inspire farmers nationwide to adopt regenerative practices. By innovating their methods, farmers will rise to the challenge of climate change and ensure soils are sustainable for the future.
I find engaging with other farmers in the cluster really, really good fun and really valuable. We've done stuff here that a lot of them can't do. Our scale and our environmental aims here allow us to do that. But equally, a lot of them have got a lot of things that they try at their scale where they've got the attention to detail that I can't do here, and I can learn from that. So that knowledge sharing is huge. It lets you question what you're up to, it lets you discuss what you're up to, and it lets you learn from other people. Our industry is changing, so we've got to change. We've got to reduce these inputs. We've got to be smarter about how we farm. And we're having a go, we're seeing what we learn, and if we can pass that on and other people can learn the positives, that's job done for us.